Hello and welcome back to the Metamystic Show. This is a collective timeless reading. We're going to get 3 cards. If you are interested in listening to this show, you can listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts at the Metamystic Show. If you want to get a personal from me, info is down below as well. Ace of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Let me begin with the channeled message because this is already tying in with the garden. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Garden of Eden. Don't worry, don't let your eyes glass over. This is not ex-minister Missy coming back to town to tell you to get saved or burned. That ain't her. She's gone. She had a reverse, this is for the Christians in the house. She had a reverse Paul moment where she left the Christian church. L'chaim. Anyways. Wait, which religion am I on? Okay. Alright, anyways. So, Garden of Eden. Snake. We all know the story, even if we didn't grow up in the church, right? There's the snake, right? The snake comes and tempts poor old Eve, right? Hello, Eve. If you will just... Damn, I wish I had an apple. That would have been awesome if I had an apple. I might. Think about the story. You know it. Think about the characters. Think about the players. Think about the snake. I'll be right back. Dehumanize, look into my eyes and tell me that I'm nothing. If you wanna say something, don't imply exclaim. This is Ginger Gold. Got this down at a farm in Massachusetts the other day for my birthday. Thank you for everybody who said happy birthday, by the way. Also, my new album, Dehumanized, is out under the name Honeybee. B is spelled B33. And all right, enough with the plugs. So, the devil comes, the snake comes, tempts Eve and says, hello, if you eat of this fruit, you will know good from evil, and you will understand both. You will have an understanding of both. And P.S., the reason why God doesn't want you to eat of that tree is because God doesn't want you to be like him. See, the snake always uses the egoic mind to tempt. It's kind of like FOMO as well. Like, wait, so I could know what God knows if I just eat this dumb apple? I'm in, right? So basically the story is the fall of humanity happens because of one damn apple, right? All right, we're all caught up. This kind of looks like an apple as well. Oh, and look who's here. Don't you know it? Wouldn't you know it? Could have predicted this myself. High Priestess. It's gonna prove everything I'm about to say. Thank you, cards. Thank you. Let's just give a moment for the cards, everybody. Alright, let's put the crown nose on. Moment for the cards. Everyone, round of applause for the cards. Always showing up and showing out, and look who's right behind. The devil. The snake. Everybody's here. Everyone's here. It's kind of like when everybody comes out on SNL at the end. This is one of those moments. Everybody's coming out on us at the end of the SNL skit, taking a bow. All right, everybody's here. We got all the players. We got Eve. Or actually, wait. This is more of a Lilith character. We're going to get into that. Sometimes I can't. I got a lot of Leo in my chart, guys. I got a Leo Mercury, so I'm just talking in my own minute. But sometimes even I'm taken aback because everything I'm about to say. Anyways. So the channeled message is, the setup is the Garden of Eden with the snake, right? Now, what I'm going to prove today by this message is kind of the inverse. Like, I was making the joke about how Paul became a Christian. He fell off the horse. He lost his sight. He used to persecute Christians, but he became a Christian and he believed in Jesus, and it's kind of like the inverse. This is sort of like an inverse thing that I'm going to talk about today. The players are switching roles, because we talk about Lilith, right? And this is not Lilith technically, but it's a Lilith-like character here, the high priestess. Now, Lilith, that's an alternate version of the Garden of Eden story, right? This all has to do with you. This isn't just me talking, you know what I'm saying? This is all about you. This is all about high priestesses and high priests, male, female, non-binary, however you identify. We're an inclusive community. I'm queer myself. Rock on. So, with that said, Lilith, there's another telling of the story. That Lilith was actually the first wife of Adam, and then Lilith got thrown out of the garden and replaced with this Eve gal, right? Now, this makes me laugh because my channeled message is sometimes God uses you as the snake in the Garden of Eden. Sometimes God will make you the devil in someone else's story. With the Justice card here as well. And the Ace of Wands. Yes. Magic. Magic and justice. When those two things combined, what do we have? An opportunity. So, this is serpentine stone. Sometimes people mistake it for jade, but this is actually serpentine. So what is this opportunity? Well, it's all about the way you look at it, which is a Piscean energy, right? Sometimes, and another way to say this is sometimes we are the karmic in someone else's story. You know how people say in our community, like, sometimes we are the bringers of karma in and of ourselves. Like, sometimes there's not only two sides of the story, the light and the dark, quote unquote. The high priestess understands both. That's the whole point that I was trying to make with Lilith and Eve and the snake and the devil and what is really evil and what is really good. And anyways, we're going to open these cards, but let me just open with this message. Let me conclude on this message. Is that sometimes God will, and if you don't believe in God, you don't believe in God, you know, because I know people that believe that we are the gods, right? Like left-hand path stuff. Again, I with the Justice card, I take a more neutral approach. Not that I'm in the middle of the road, but I'm a high priestess and I understand both, and I work with both the light and the dark, and you can't have light without dark, and you know what I'm saying? It's kind of good to know a guy, if you know what I mean. You know, it's good to know a guy, all right? I'm Italian, you know what I'm talking about? All right. Do you know the Muffin Man? It's kind of like a riddle or a passcode, you know, like when you go to the troll under the bridge and you have to know the password. Do you know the Muffin Man? And then the troll lets you through, right? I believe this is Baphomet, and tarot experts correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is supposed to be Baphomet here. At one point, I took a very advanced tarot course, and she talked all about the mythology behind the cards, and it was just fascinating. But anyways, Baphomet, Baphomet is also like a male and a female combined. So this is kind of like the quote unquote shadow side of the Lover's card, right? So you could say one is the Garden of Eden, with Adam and Eve on the Lover's card, because it has like the snake and all that. And then you could argue that this is like the underworld with Hades, Hold on, let me just look it up really quick. One sec, guys. Because if this is Persephone and Hades, let's just keep it loose. Sorry, my stomach is growling. I just want to see if it's Baphomet. I'm typing with one finger. It's a broad topic. It's such a broad topic. I believe so. It's not relevant. It's not relevant, guys. See, I'm getting too Virgo with it. This is the sort of junk I do behind the scenes. But anyways, back to it. For those who are still present, sometimes I wonder if Spirit has me like talk long-winded at the beginning so we weed out the people that are not supposed to hear the message. So sometimes I wonder. All right. This message is for people that are high priestesses and understand the light and the dark, and understand not only the light and the dark, but that there's this like other third kind of, and there's more than three. It's not either or, it's both, and that's who this message is for. It's understanding multiple perspectives, that we can switch characters. It's not only that there's Eve in the garden. Sorry guys, my stomach is growling. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten today. And I'm a Virgo, so. Not only is there Eve, but there's also, just for today, let's say this is Lilith. This is a Lilith-like character. And people say that, Lilith was actually the original woman, whatever. So there's argument about that, the polarities of that, the light and the dark version of the original woman and all that. But what I'm actually talking about today is not any of that. I'm actually talking about, what if you are the snake? What if you are the devil in someone's story for the reason of a higher karmic correctional order? My last three messages talk about, the illegal use of like magic, sacrifice, using authority, siphoning energy from people, like without them understanding it, because you think that you can like cloak yourself and put your burdens on unsuspecting people and do all this crazy work in the back end and think you're just gonna get away with it. Now, see, this is the funny thing. Some of these people, they think they're working with the devil. This is the irony. You're the one that actually has the eye of the quote-unquote devil. The devil, I'm just going to use that for today, the devil looked at how you just handled some sort of crazy karmic situation, how you turned the whole damn thing around, saw it from a third perspective. You were actually the snake in the story that had the wisdom, that understood good from evil, that already went through your whole crazy like underworld experience where you saw things from both sides and oh my God, and that's how you're able to be a just judge. And I don't mean a literal judge, I mean like a judge of good and evil and what it all means. And it's like weighing, the Egyptian mythology of like weighing the feather to see if you are pure enough to go through. You know, it's like all of that stuff is coming up here. It's like some of you, and I don't mean to say this to like scare you or freak you out or anything, you actually caught the eye of the devil. And now this is Saturnian energy. So this could be in the form of like you caught the eye of like a movie director or somebody in the finance world, or, you know, 10th house theme, somebody that has status, somebody that has power, right? The devil is not bad. It depends how it's used. And in this case, for some of you, this was, I don't want to call it a karmic test, but for some of you, who this message is for, you played the character of the snake, of the devil, in someone else's story. Therefore, an opportunity is now being presented to you, and we're going to open these cards and see if we can get some more information on it. It's almost like you passed some sort of, you know, Dante's Inferno? Let me see if I can get it. Dante's Inferno. I want to show the, like, layers of hell. Let's look. Yeah, the 9 circles of hell in Dante's Inferno. What are the 9 levels of hell? Let's look at it real quick, because that's what's coming to mind here. It's almost as if, yeah, all right. Which is said that Dante's Inferno is actually where originally Christians got the idea of hell to begin with. And I'll talk about hell another day and my views on what hell is and what hell's not and all that. But that's more my theological brain, and I'm not talking about that today necessarily. All right. Limbo, lust, gluttony. Why are these all out of order? Hold on. Sorry, guys. The teacher's late to class. All right, sorry, everybody. All right, thank God the real teacher's here. Let's welcome her. We'll welcome her into the building. All right, here she is. Here's the real teacher, guys. She's back. All right. Just whatever. You know what I'm saying. Do I have to qualify every goddamn thing? I came from the church where you have to be like so perfectly precise. 1 jot and 1 tittle. If 1 jot or 1 tittle is removed from the law, then you will burn in hell. It's like, all right, calm down, guys. God damn it. I've been dealing with this shit with y'all since the first fucking century. All right. Card number 1 is the Page of Swords. See, this is what I'm saying. You caught the eye. The Page of Swords is like an onlooker. Could be a spy in a sense, or like an undercover spy in this sense. It's like somebody might have, you know, even presented as somebody that like was just like a normal civilian or something, and this could all be metaphorical for you guys, right? And they could even be like a scout or something like that. Spiritually speaking, I'm talking about from a high level, and it could be literal for some of you. It could be, you know, for some of you here that are doing like work like I do, this could be somebody being like, wow, that person kind of stands out from the crowd. That's an interesting person. But it doesn't have to be 3D literal, even though Saturn, 10th house themes, Capricorn could be money-based, could be, you know, all those 10th house themes, right? Could be, you know, because we have the Ace of Pentacles here, could be some sort of an actual 3D world opportunity coming in for you because somebody witnessed something about you. All right, you caught somebody's eye here. Now, if it's not literal, and this could be in like the esoteric arts. Now, if it's more metaphorical, what I'm seeing is it's like, sorry guys, this is a big message to unpack. It's like you went down through this complicated you went on this perilous spiritual journey. That's what I'm trying to say. That not many people can complete. That's really what I'm trying to say. Okay. And that was witnessed. It's almost like you caught the eye of the devil himself down in the underworld. It's kind of like the story of Persephone in Hades, where like, you know, he took her down into the underworld, and I don't know, whoever that applies for, it applies for, but it's something like this where you were like this double-blind agent that you didn't even know what you were doing in a situation, in a karmic situation where something had to be corrected. Somebody was using their magic illegally. There was some sort of weird work going on in the back end. Somebody was trying to like swap destinies or karma and put all their karma on you, and then you had a hard life, and then they were like hiding their hands, like, what are you talking about? I had nothing to do with that. And they had reason, it's like they're driving up in a fancy car and people are like, oh yeah, that's so-and-so, and maybe they have like Saturnian, maybe this person has power or money or whatever, take it as a metaphor or not. You had some sort of karmic contract with someone, is what I'm getting, to where your spiritual acumen was able to be demonstrated. You played the karmic in a situation. You played the snake. That's what I'm getting. It's like you played the bad guy. You played the heel, like in UFC terms. Like you were the heel. You came in and you were the one that brought karmic justice. In terms of signs, we have Capricorn, Cancer, Pisces, and Libra, right? You caught the eye of the devil himself, quote unquote, or not quote unquote, when you went down into that underworld. Let's do it this way, because it's like unsuspecting. It's like the eyes of the devil are like peeking over the wall, of reality. It's like you went through some sort of crazy karmic contract here where something was unbalanced and illegal. And the way that you conducted yourself, what I'm getting, it's like even the devil himself was surprised how you did what you did. You combine some sort of like magic. It's like practical magic. It's like you combined magic, esoteric arts, ancient practices with this high priestess energy with some sort of like Saturnian Ace of Pentacles themes. Like you could be somebody. It's like you also were kind of cloaked and undercover in a situation where you're this high priestess, but maybe you didn't show your full hand. Maybe you went through a situation and you just listened for your guides. 3 of Pentacles, you're like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but just step by step, you followed the directions, you followed your intuition, high priestess. And little did you know that this whole time there were aspects of you, I know this is a big message, guys, there were aspects of you that your eyes were closed to what was actually going on. Because when somebody gets arrested for a crime and the detectives start to go around and ask the people that person knows questions. And if you know what was going on in the dark with this like criminal activity, and for a lot of you it's just like unjust magic, like somebody flashed their badge because they were somebody in the spiritual dimension, or some sort of like judge situation here, they used something illegally against you. For a lot of you here, because all of that my point is, I'm sorry guys, let me just take a sip of water. I'm coming around the mountain. Hold on. See, for some of you, this is even political because I'm seeing the word Washington, and that's Washington State, but Washington, D.C., for some of you, it's like this can manifest as 10th house. This can manifest on a big scale. This can manifest on a small scale. I literally just did a reading with somebody where this manifested on a small scale, and it's freaking crazy. But anyways, See these birds in the back end? Sometimes I notice these. These are like the guides. The guides were with you. Somebody that you were in some sort of karmic tango with, some sort of karmic contract, looked at you like you were this young, innocent student, just learning, just, maybe just, taking on the ropes for the first time, but really you're this like master high priestess, and you've been a high priestess for many, many years, but it's almost as if you were, and this person could have been a Libra, but it's almost like they looked at you like you were just this like innocent newbie on the block, but really you were this high priestess, but you were humble. Because you wanted to actually learn even though you were high level. Do you understand? Like you're really this, but you showed up as this. And you were led to do that by your guides. I hope that this makes sense. With the Chariot, these are guides here, these sphinxes in the front. You were being led where to go, what to say, who to connect with. And then this Three of Pentacles, it's like sometimes I look at these as like the guides in the basement with the plans. And it's like over. Okay, Missy, now we want you to do this. Over. Now, Missy, we want you to do that, and we want you to say this, and we want you to pull out from that group, and we want you to go talk to that person over there, and we want you to start, I'm just being totally practical. Offer personal readings now where before you were against it, and now you're opening them back up. And now we want you to start doing, all signs readings. And now we want you to stop doing them because it's the end of the Mercury retrograde, which is actually what happened because I started doing like all the 12 signs. And then Spirit was like, no, we want you to pull that out. We want you to do collectives now. I'm using that as a practical example for like stuff that I've done with my guides. Now, this whole time, you were in some sort of like karmic agreement or contract with somebody that looked at you like you were beneath them. Could be romantic, could be platonic, could be business, right? Somebody that thought they were above you when really this person was actually being like audited, sort of. Like I said, you were like the snake in their grass. They might have thought that they were the snake in your grass, that they thought you were just young, naive, you'd never noticed. They were like stealing your ideas, siphoning energy from you, all that stuff. You knew that, or you knew something was wrong, but you were trusting your guides because your guides were not pulling you out of a situation and you were feeling like weird and awkward and bad. Your guides weren't pulling you out and you're like, all right, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you. Because of your blind faith, it was a double blind is what I'm trying to say. It's like an experiment / sting operation, because if you knew too much, you could have been held accountable when the detective came around and started questioning the people that were involved with this crazy operation, whatever this was with the devil here. This is all underground stuff. This is underworld stuff. This is not stuff that, you can really even talk about. So I'm trying to keep it as metaphorical as I can here. You went blind by faith. In the past 3 readings that I did before this, there were a lot of like blinders involved. Like we had the 8 of Swords multiple times where you couldn't see something, but you just went by faith. You went blindly down into the underworld and just listened to what you were being shown and guided to do. You were really the snake this whole time. You were the double agent. You were the spy. You were the one who was actually gaining intel for the higher ups to bust whoever this person was for illegally using something in the wrong way. That even the devil himself took notice of you. Now let's go further. Card number 2 is the Hierophant. See, this is an initiation. And we had the Hierophant in at least a couple of those readings that I mentioned right before this. the ones that I talked about, energy vampires, narcissists. I talked about a 20-year cycle. It's a turnover. This is all connected, but this is just more micro into like what actually happened here in the back end. Like, what exactly is happening here? Like, what did happen? Because I feel like some of you are on the other side of something now, and Spirit, let me show you the table. Spirit caused it to be like this on purpose. Here, guys. Sorry, can't really show too much here with this angle, but here's the lineup over here. Moving the lipstick. All right, and here, here's the setup. So it's overwhelming, this energy, and I feel like a lot of you felt overwhelmed during this process. This was an initiation. This was like Dante's Inferno. This was like the layers of hell. That's what I was trying to explain, and I'm happy the Hierophant showed up to prove what I'm saying. You were the snake this whole time, but you weren't, a snake. A snake is a good omen depending on where it's used. The snake is a transformational energy. The snake is what helps you, the Hierophant is a card of initiation. These two bald dudes here, they're being initiated into a higher order with this Hierophant. And that's what's happening here. High Priestess and Hierophant as well, this is a side note. These are spiritual counterparts. This is like the Emperor and the Empress, but they're spiritual. So for some of you that are looking for love, I feel like you going through this crazy like karmic cycle with like a person, for example, with the Four of Wands. I feel like for those of you who have completed this cycle, which many have, and some of you are on the tail end, depending on where you are on the timeline, what I'm getting is that it's almost as if you going through this crazy karmic cycle with somebody that was like a false flame for you, who misused magic and maybe even used like sex magic on you, spells to try to like control you and keep you in their clutch and their grasp. This could even be a past life thing repeating for you guys, or it's even something that's repeated in this life. Like you keep dating these abusive, excuse my French, people. Trigger warning, clown nose. TW, the trigger warning clown. For some of you, it's been repetitive situations where you've dated these same assholes that are controlling and manipulative and narcissistic again and again and again. And this was kind of like the final karmic, or this was the opportunity, Ace of Pentacles, for you to break this karmic cycle once and for all. See, this message manifests in many different ways. Like for some of you, this could be like career with this Capricornian energy, this Saturnian energy. For some of you, this could just be like, you're just kind of here learning in the tarot community. You're learning maybe about tarot, maybe you're learning about astrology, maybe you're trying to understand what all this karmic cycle stuff is all about. With the Page of Swords, you're kind of just here watching tarot readings, trying to kind of understand what's going on with your life, and could even be that. For others of you, it is romantic and you just went through some sort of crazy karmic cycle. And I'm positive about what I'm saying because I've actually done personal readings on this topic. So it's like this is happening. Like this thing that I'm explaining, I'm seeing it in real time happening before my eyes in people's lives that I've never met. I see your comments every single day. Like this is a movement. This is a thing that's happening. It's not just me talking about some like crazy thing I got to download on. This is big stuff. This is Garden of Eden stuff. This is like the dawn of time stuff. This is like every 100 years. Because I talked about the public domain in one of my last readings, where it's like every 100 years something comes into the public domain. Like 100 years after somebody dies, the artwork can come into the public domain, like these cards. It's been 100 years since the original Rider-Waite, therefore they can be used publicly, sold, and things like that. I think, unless there's somebody that took over the rights, like their son or something like that. But anyways, too much Virgo. All right, pull out. Pull out. For some of you, what has happened here is by you going down into this underworld high-level initiation to make you a higher being. Like you were being initiated through this weird karmic, magic trap that you just got through. It's like you were being watched by the higher level courts through this situation, even if you didn't fully understand what was going on and what you like agreed to, like, how Dolores Cannon talks about the waves of volunteers. I do believe there could be an element here for those of you who believe in Dolores Cannon's work and star seeds and, believe in the fringe alien stuff like I do. There could be an element of that here where we came in as volunteers. Anyways, now let me pull it back towards this side of the spectrum with the more like esoteric-y stuff, which is for some of you, you just broke some sort of a karmic hard contract that was a repetitive cycle in your life that just kept, choking you out again and again and again in all different forms, jobs, partners, parents, your own damn self, right? And through this experience, something was unlocked through your initiation that then opened you up to connect with for who this applies for. It applies for, if you're looking for this is what could be available for you with the Ace of Pentacles through this process. This is like the light at the end of the tunnel. For some of you, this unlocked like a deep, high level soul connection with a Hierophant High Priestess dynamic, depending which one you are here, where it's a spiritual union where you both can connect on a spiritual level. You can have high level sex together. It's not going to be, it's not just going to be some like, it's also like we got the devil here. Like you can have like tantric sex with this person. This is like everything you could want. Like maybe you got with karmic people where they had this element. It helped bring this side out of you. And you liked that with the Ace of Wands and the devil, but then you're like, wait, but they're actually like a devil outside of the sheets as well, and they'll like take me down in court. You know what I'm saying? This person will betray me. This person wants to put all their burdens on me, and then they hide their hand and say like, what are you talking about? And gaslight me out of the fact that even happened. And then you realize like, oh my god, they just thought I was a Queen of Wands. They just thought I was hot. They just wanted to fuck me. Well, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get banned off of YouTube, alright? Damn it. Oh Lord Jesus. Thank you, God. You had to come to the Virgo Mercurial reader, didn't you? All right. So I hope that was clear. That I got that part of the message out. I feel like my blood pressure is coming down. I got that part out. Something has been unlocked here for those of you that are interested in this part of the deal here, deal with the devil here, is that you went up a spiritual level that now you can align, and probably this other person went through something similar. Now you can align together with a soulmate that is kind of like the whole package. Like, you both understand this whole Dante's Inferno thing, but you also are people that, like, dedicate your life to spiritual matters. Even if it comes through in the form of something more practical, like financial, or, you know, maybe it's more like in the arts with the Ace of Wands. You know, maybe it's more like with the Queen of Wands, Ace of Wands, it could be like, this could be like a talk show host. This could be an artist. This could be a dancer. Like, it doesn't always have to be, like I said, like, it doesn't have to be all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we live in 2024. We're not in, like, the early ages. Like, this is modern, but it could be, like, the type of person that you stay up late into the night and talk about, like, crazy fringe alien esoteric shit with, and they're like, yeah, like, totally, you know, like somebody you would actually want to marry. Okay, so anyways, I think we got that. I think we got it out, folks. All right, now let's come back around. We have one more card. Card number 3 is the Ten of Pentacles. I told you, for some of you, this is about money. See, this message goes multiple ways. With this Ace of Pentacles, Saturnian energy, as Capricorn always does. Can always count on you, Cap. Always showing up with the real world, tangible stuff. Because, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, you can't pay bills on a hope and a prayer. You know what I'm talking about? And some of the main reason that people get divorced is because of money. So, you know, Cap knows how to come through with the full package with the Ten of Pentacles. You know what I'm talking about? So, all right. Let me summarize, because we're at the end here. I guess these are going to be 45 minutes now, everybody. So buckle up. I don't know what to tell y'all. And if you want to book a personal, the info's down below if you want something more like to your exact situation, because this is general. And this is for entertainment purposes only. Okay. So here's what we got for our main cards, right? Very, very simple on the surface. Initiation with the Hierophant. You were a student here with the Page of Swords, but you're somebody that you're not a student. You're not a noob, but you were humble before your authorities. You know, because I don't care how spiritually advanced you are, there's always going to be those above us, right? And you took a knee. I'm getting the Knights of the Round Table, like past life stuff. I'm seeing like the Emerald Tablet. For some of you, those things could be relevant here, but it's like you took a knee as a high priestess, as somebody who already was qualified for work like this, very spiritually advanced, but you showed up as a Page of Swords. And because you were humble, and that was part of the test, because you showed up that way, you took a knee before your higher ups, therefore you were raised up an even higher level, as well as, I just keep seeing an unlock. I keep hearing the sound of that clicking of the metal inside of a door, of an unlock. It opened up doors for you, and it's about to open even more. That's really this message, where things will happen, like I said, you know, financial, career, Saturnian stuff, right? As well as, you know, possibly creative opportunities. You know, this can be speaking, like traveling and speaking. Some of you are writers, some of you are communicators, some of you are in the entertainment industry with the Queen of Wands and the Ace of Wands. It could be opening up, like I said before as well, high-level spiritual connections. But above all, what has happened here is karmic justice, and a karmic rebalancing has happened because you were sent in as some sort of a undercover agent to a situation that was corrupt and needed to be corrected. But this is the interesting part, is that you know, like when you're doing a scientific experiment, it's a double blind experiment. Both sides don't know. It's like, so there's no bias, is my point with this. You went in as a student into this initiation, but you really went in blind. You weren't going in with all your tools. You were going in. It's almost like, you know, on Men in Black where you forget everything. It's almost like you were given some sort of a spiritual amnesia of sorts where certain things you couldn't see. And now that you're coming out the other side, you are being granted a higher level of spiritual authority because you caught the eye of even the devil himself because of how you conducted yourself during this very challenging, almost psychosis-inducing spiritual initiation, right? And I'm not a doctor. If you need help, please get help. This video is for entertainment purposes only. One more thing, for some of you, this whole thing was about money, and it's always been about money. And now, so if this was some sort of crazy thing where you came into this life and your parents, it's kind of like a Moloch, like the god Moloch that people used to sacrifice in the Old Testament. My Bible's over there. It's used to sacrifice the children, sensitive imagery. Trigger warning, trigger warning. They would sacrifice the children to this god of money. That's what the god was about. This was a god of money. So parents would sacrifice the children to this god so that they would obtain money. For some of you, this is that, and you had some sort of crazy contract. This is just only for a select few. You had some sort of crazy contract coming into this life with the Four of Wands where your parents, let me give a real world example so this doesn't sound so out there. You know the girl Jeanette McCurdy who wrote that book, I'm Glad My Mom Died, or whatever it's called? She talked about in that book, and I have the book in my bedroom, she talked about how she did not even want to audition for that stuff. Like, her mom made her, like, audition for shows and stuff. Like, half the time these kids, they don't even want to do what their parents are forcing them to do. And then their parents take all the money as well. And so there have literally been laws that have been put in place now, and I can't remember the exact name of the law, but there's a certain law when it comes to, somebody let me know down in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. There's a certain law in place where the kids rightfully get their money so the parents can't, like, steal it away. For some of you, there was some sort of, like, deal with the devil, whatever, here, where you even came into this life. I know this is getting complicated, and I'm going to end on this, where it was like some sort of a trade-off, where, like, you were sacrificed, and because maybe in a past life you actually were sacrificed, like, to the gods, or a god that would, like, bring your family money or something. And in this life, it was more just like, wow, I really have money problems. What's going on here? It's like, it could be something like that, where this is an ancient past life contract that is now broken, or it's in the process of that being broken because of this rigorous, like, initiation that you went through that broke the initial magic, or it's in the process of that. For some of you, dating even back to freaking Adam and Eve. And now I personally believe that the story of Adam and Eve is an allegory, but I'm saying ancient times. So for some of you, this whole damn thing was over money, Saturn, 10 of Pentacles. And for some of you, this is what's going to happen with this, like, court ruling, with this karmic rebalancing, is all that money. And for some of you, it's like love. It's like Ten of Pentacles can be like you felt like you've gotten the short end of the stick in relationships and people have just taken from you and not given to you. For others of you, this is literally money, where it's like you felt like you've had a hard time with money in this life, and now something's going to be rebalanced where suddenly your money's about to turn around, and it's like you don't. In the past, it felt like you were rolling the ball up a steep mountain and you just kept, like you couldn't breathe. You were trying to push this big boulder up the mountain, and it's like no matter how hard you tried, it felt like there was a hole in your pocket and this money was slipping out. And I'm not saying you're going to be a millionaire overnight. I'm talking about some sort of resistance is going to be moved away. I'm seeing the stone in front of the tomb of Jesus Christ being rolled away. It's like some sort of stone is going to be rolled away. I'm also seeing with these chains, it's like you were carrying a heavy ball and chain, pushing this money boulder up the mountain, carrying this big weight from a past life, dating way back. It's like you were pushing this money up the mountain and you had all this weight of chains on you, and you're like, why is it so hard for me to even keep a job at McDonald's? Like I don't even need much. I just need to be able to pay my bills. It's like because for some of you there was some sort of dark, dirty karmic contract here. And for some of you, it's not actually money, it's like energy. Like I talked about on my past 3 readings, energy vampires, narcissists, psychopathic mothers, crazy shit that we had to deal with growing up, partners that we dated that were literally like their eyes turned black when they looked at you and smiled maniacally in your face. And you're just like, what the hell, God? Why does this shit keep happening? Well, the day has dawned. With this energy here, the wheels are turning, and for some of you, I do believe that this has all been part of the plan. Again, back to that Dolores Cannon Wave of Volunteers thing, where it was all part of the plan for you to go through. It's almost like you were like, I'll go. Like, for the family line, I'll go and I'll break this curse for the family. It's like you came down, you were the one that decided to go in, unsuspecting, into a room full of like judges and lawyers and people who had money and status, and it's like you're just coming in like, hey guys, none the wiser. These people might have even laughed in your goddamn face, but this is the thing, you were here to break the chains of something that came long before you. Just listening to your guides over, going step by step, walking by faith, being led by your guides, when all the while you're actually this high priestess. And for some of you, this wealth, this 10 of Pentacles, is in remembering who you really are. And so now your life is just going to run smoother because of that. It's like you're having a remembrance of who you really are. You know what I'm saying? And what all this has been for. And part of this initiation was preparing you to be able to carry the weight of this sort of a calling. Because this is, for some of you, this is like a spiritual teacher role with the Hierophant. This is like, you know, you could be a reader, you could be a divinator, where it's like you get messages, you get downloads, you get dreams, you know. So for some of you, this is like a life's mission, and you had to like make it through this sort of initiation period with the Hierophant as a student, so that it was like double duty. It's like they were able to break the chains of this past life bullshit with the Justice card and balance out the scales and make a correction, number 1. Break these contracts and stuff that were holding you bound when it had to do with money, love, you know, even creativity, all that stuff, happiness, all that, number 1. But number 2, it also has to do with, for some of us here, a higher level spiritual path that can only open to those who are able to handle this weight. 10-10. This is like the heaviest of cards, you know, the 10s. It's It's like not everybody can carry the burden of, it's not even a burden, it's just carry the weight of responsibility of being like, you know, a teacher to people that are, because you know how it's not always this extreme, but how it says in the Bible, like their blood is on your hands if you lead people astray. It's like if people trust in you and you tell them something as a hierophant, and then it's your fault basically that they went astray. Even if it's in like, you know, even if you're a boss, it's like, if your ship goes down, Three of Pentacles, if your business goes down, it's your fault. It's not the the employees did this. The employees are the ones who did all this crazy money laundering in the back end, not me. But it's your business, honey. So you're the one who's responsible. We can understand that when it comes to like the business world. We understand why these crooks are going to prison for like money laundering and extortion and tax fraud. We're like, yeah, they should be in prison. But then when it comes to spiritual leaders, we're like, oh, just let them go to another church and start over. That's what they do with these ministers. You know, they just transfer them to another building. And even if they, you know, did stuff to little kids, they just transfer him. They just transfer him to Pennsylvania. He'll be fine. But if it's in the money system, it's like throw that asshole in prison and he rots in prison. You know what I'm saying? And there's something like that going on here too. And I'm going to close on this, guys. I know I got a lot of info. With this justice system, it's like that double duty. It's like both sides of the spectrum. There's also there's like justice being brought into systems that are used to getting away with stuff as well. Excuse me, because you saw something with the Page of Swords and you're able to Ace of Wands speak on that. Sorry, my stomach's getting really weird on this because this is like this is the juicy info. And then finally, I will say this. Then for some of you, because of this process, you will end up meeting somebody who's at your level spiritually because you've both gone through this initiation and you will both understand that you're students and will connect on that level. For some of you, you actually connected like in the underground and you haven't met yet, but you will down the line is what I'm getting. So I'm going to close on that. Whew, that was one hell of a message, man. That was one hell of a message. Whew. Whoo-wee. Wow, you were the snake this time. Wow, that's crazy. All right, everybody, I love you. Remember, you can always listen to the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts at The Metamystic Show if you want to get a personal link down below. And until next time, everybody, it's been Missy Gordon, The Metamystic here. You take care.